If there's any kids here that expect to see a Python snake jump outside of a parcel, a box, you're in the wrong place. This is about automating data migration to the parcel fabric using Python code. So if you're here for that, you're in the right place. And let's get started. So let me start by going to the Analysis tab in ArcGIS Pro. And I'm an old school. Let's go with the Python window and open that up. And here's down here the command prompt. And here we have a shapefile, parcels.shape. So let's call it, I don't know, source data. Source data equals, and we're going to take this shapefile here and drag it over here. Try it again. And now you can see the path and press enter. So now we have a variable called source data. Great. Let's find the special reference of this source data, and I'm going to use it by using the describe function. So arcpy dot describe. Good. I think I spelled it right. Yes. Open, and we're going to use the source data. A dot. So it's still not a special reference. Dot special reference. I think I spelled it right. Enter. So if we don't, I'm not sure, I can just put SR and press enter. Yep, and there's a georeferencing object here. So we do have the special reference. Great. And let's create a new file geodatabase. I'm just going to call it FGDB equals, and we're going to say arcpy dot create file GDB. Yep. I think we need to give it a name and a path. So I'm just gonna specify, I think the folder path is needed. Where is this thing? Migration automation. I'm just gonna right click and say copy path. And we're gonna put it here. I'll undo and put some parentheses. Good. And then we have to give it a name. Let's call it staging. No, let's call it FileGDB. Keep it simple. That's the out name, and we don't need the version, and press enter. So if we refresh this here, we should see, yep, a FileGDB here. Excellent. Now the next thing is to create a feature dataset. So feature dataset FDS equals arcpy.create feature dataset management. Excellent. We need to specify, what do we need to specify here? The FileGDB. So we have it as a variable, so I can just do FGDB. So we have where we want it. We need to give it a name. We can call it staging if we wanted to, or something else, maybe parcel editing. Parcel editing. That's going to be the name, and we need to provide it a special reference. So just put that variable SR that we had before, and that special reference we took from the shapefile, right? So we are using the same special reference. Press enter, and we should see a feature dataset here. Excellent, called parcel editing. So now we just created the schema, so we can start moving into create a parcel fabric. So parcel fabric, let's call it PF, the variable equals arcpy dot create parcel fabric. Excellent. We need to provide the feature data set, so that variable FDS, and we need to give it a name. So what is our parcel fabric name going to be? Let's just call it parcel fabric. That makes sense. And I think that's it, so we can press enter. So now it will create a new parcel fabric. Of course, you wouldn't do this kind of thing in Python to migrate your data. It doesn't save you much time. But if you had to do it often and automate that, like for example, if you get a digital submission and you want to create a small staging parcel fabric for every submitted plan, you could consider using this type of automation. So it's still running and it's done. Let's look at the future data set. Seeing is believing, right? And here, sure enough, we have a parcel fabric called parcel fabric, but it has no parcel types. So let's add a parcel type, and I'm going to create now a few variables because it will return my parcel fabric. It will also return my parcels and my lines. So that's what it's going to return. And now we can do argpy dot add parcel type. Okay, that will create a polygon feature class and a line feature class in that parcel type. And we probably have to specify our parcel fabric. So that's our pf variable that we just had from before. And we need to also give it a name. How are we going to call our parcels? Let's just call them parcels. That makes sense. You can give it your own specific name like tags, encumbrance, load, subdivision, simultaneous conveyance, whatever you feel like you can give that name. And we're going to just press enter now. So this is going to add a parcel type to our parcel fabric here. We should see it being created any moment here. And sure enough, here's the parcels and parcel lines and all the relationships and so on. So it's been created. So now I'm going to add another field. That's just showing how you can extend the schema. So argpy dot add field. Where's the add? There's add field and add fields, I think. So we're just going to add one. We're going to add it to the parcels. So those are case sensitive. So here's the variable we created, parcels. Good. Next, what will be the field name? I'm going to call it record name because I have a field like this on my source data. And I'm going to create it as a text field. So excellent. So we have that field added to the parcels feature class. Okay, now comes the data migration piece where we migrate the data. So how do we do that? We append it. So argpy.append data management. Here we go. So append, and we want to append our source data. So that was source data. I'll just select this so I don't do any spelling mistakes. And I want to add it to append it to the parcels. So here are the parcels variable. And the next thing will be, do we need input use field map? So I'm just going to use that option because the schema don't match. So it basically says no test. And that's good enough. And I'm just going to press enter. So now it's appending our shapefile to the target parcel class. So that has been done. Now we know that there's no true curves with shapefile, so I would like to fix that as well as part of this process. So let's use a GPU with one of the longest name I know. Simplify by straight line and circular arc. Here it is. Luckily I don't have to type it. Okay, and it has quite a lot of parameters, so I'm going to cheat here, save us some time, and just copy all of that instead. So let me just come here. And I'll explain to you what we're doing. We are going to simplify our polygons, our parcels polygons, right? With those parameters and fit true curves to them, to the vertices. There's some tolerance there, and press enter. So now it's processing our new parcels polygons and creating true curves. So now that we fixed those geometries, we can continue to create parcel records. So argpy dot create parcel records. And the reason you see me all the time look to the right is where my cheat sheet is, and I'll show you my cheat sheet in just a moment. So we're going to create a parcel records. We're going to use our parcels as input. And which field are we going to use there? We're going to use the field record name that we created before that contains all the record names. So this is how we're going to group the parcels together. And the last thing we have to do is to build our parcel fabric. So argpy dot build parcel fabric. And in here, it only have to do is provide the parcel fabric and press enter, and that will create the missing lines and points for this data. So it has been built. Now let's see how it looks. I'm going to close the Python window. And let's just add this new parcel fabric to a new map. So right click, add to a new map. And of course this is sample data. Which type of layers do we want? Let's go with the editing layers. And now it will add the appropriate layers and zoom to the extent of the data. And here it is. And let's zoom a bit. We'll see that if we have true curves or not. So I'm curious. So we see here we have polygons, lines, points. Great. Are those true curves or not? I'm going to use this new 3.5 feature that allows me to see all the vertices and true curves. So as you can see, true curves are by default in orange. So all these areas where you see orange, there's no vertices, and true curves have been fitted. So that's great. Toggle it off. If we want to see the records feature class, we can come to the parcel fabric layer and turn it on. It contains the parcel fabric records underneath, and if you can see, there's those blue outlines. So if we zoom out a bit, we'll see the record names on those blue outlines. So this is how you would use Python to create your parcel fabric. And let me show you the source code. You can put it all in a script file, right? And here you can see that you can import argpy once, give a variable names to, here I use parcel fabric name and where the source data was in a relative path. But the process here is identical, the same to what we just did. And of course, if you want to update your Kogo, there's a spelling mistake here. There's another tool, a geoprocessing tool, that also allows you to do that. I'm not a big fan of updating Kogo if you don't really exist, but maybe you need to create a tax map. So this may be one reason why you would do that. So I hope you find this video useful. If you're about to automate any parcel fabric creation and automation, feel free to share comments and tell us why you use this script. Thank you.